There was a time when albums mattered more than singles, when bands didn't just release songs, they released statements, complete artistic visions that demanded to be heard from beginning to end. And some bands, for a brief magical window, couldn't miss. Every album they touched turned to gold, not just commercially but artistically. Today, we're celebrating 10 perfect album runs in rock history, stretches of brilliance so consistent, so groundbreaking, that they'll never be repeated. Because the music industry has changed, attention spans have shifted, and frankly, lightning rarely strikes the same place twice. Let's dive into these legendary streaks. Let There Be Rock, Powerage, Highway to Hell, Back in Black, For Those About to Rock, 5 albums in 5 years that redefined hard rock forever. AC/DC stripped rock down to its raw essence, massive riffs, thunderous drums, and vocals that screamed rebellion. Bon Scott fronted the first 3. His lyrics mixing humor with danger, his voice pure rock and roll soul. Then tragedy struck. Scott died in 1980, and most bands would have collapsed. Instead, Brian Johnson stepped in. And Back in Black became one of the best-selling albums of all time, a tribute to Scott that somehow managed to be both mournful and triumphant. Every album in this run is essential. No filler, no experiments that failed, just pure hard rock perfection. Angus Young's guitar riffs became the blueprint for generations. Malcolm Young's rhythm guitar was the unshakable foundation. This run proved that simplicity executed perfectly beats complexity every time. AC/DC created a formula and perfected it across 5 flawless albums. Desperado, On the Border, One of These Nights, Hotel California, The Long Run. 6 years, 5 albums, and the Eagles became the sound of California rock. They started as country rock outlaws on Desperado, telling stories of gunslingers and dreamers. By Hotel California, they were crafting complex, layered masterpieces about American excess and spiritual emptiness. Don Henley's drums and vocals provided the backbone. Glenn Frey's songs captured the zeitgeist. Joe Walsh joined for Hotel California, adding guitar firepower that elevated everything. The harmonies were immaculate, the production pristine, the songwriting consistently brilliant. Every album sold millions and produced radio staples that still dominate classic rock stations. This wasn't just commercial success, it was artistic evolution. Each album building on the last while maintaining sky-high quality. The Long Run showed the cracks forming, the tensions that would break the band. But even their goodbye was a masterpiece. This run captured an era and never let go. Days of Future Past, In Search of the Lost Chord, On the Threshold of a Dream, To Our Children's Children's Children, A Question of Balance. Every Good Boy Deserves Favor. Seventh Sojourn. 7 albums in 6 years, and every single one pushed boundaries. The Moody Blues fused rock with orchestral arrangements, creating progressive rock before the term existed. Days of Future Past, with its integration of the London Festival Orchestra, became a template for concept albums. Each record explored philosophical themes, cosmic questions, and emotional depth rarely attempted in rock. Justin Hayward's voice soared, Mike Pinder's mellotron created otherworldly textures, and the band's commitment to album as art never wavered. They sold millions, while critics debated whether this was rock or something else entirely. Looking back, it's clear, this was visionary music that influenced everyone from Pink Floyd to Radiohead. 7 consecutive albums without a misstep. An achievement that seems impossible now, when bands struggle to maintain quality across 2 albums. Fleetwood Mac, Rumors, Tusk, Mirage, Tango in the Night. 12 years, 5 albums, and constant internal chaos that somehow fueled brilliance. The '75 self-titled album introduced Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks, transforming the band from blues purists into pop-rock gods. Then came Rumors, one of the best-selling albums ever, created while the band's relationships imploded. Breakups, affairs, heartbreak, all channeled into perfect songs. Tusk was their experimental answer to success, a double album that challenged everything. Mirage brought them back to accessible perfection. Tango in the Night. Their final masterpiece with Buckingham proved they could still create magic despite years of turmoil. Every album went multi-platinum. Every album produced hits. The production was immaculate, the songwriting profound, and the performances emotionally raw. Fleetwood Mac turned their dysfunction into art, and this 12-year run captured lightning in a bottle 5 times. Different eras, different sounds, consistent greatness. Sheer Heart Attack, A Night at the Opera, A Day at the Races, News of the World, Jazz, The Game. 6 albums in 7 years, and Queen refused to repeat themselves. Sheer Heart Attack showed their range, from heavy rock to vaudeville. A Night at the Opera delivered Bohemian Rhapsody, the song that shouldn't work but became immortal. A Day at the Races proved it wasn't a fluke. News of the World gave us We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions, stadium anthems that will outlive us all. Jazz explored funk, rock, and everything between. The Game embraced synthesizers and produced Another One Bites the Dust, their biggest American hit. Freddie Mercury's voice and vision drove everything, but Brian May's guitar work was distinctive and brilliant. Roger Taylor's drumming powerful, John Deacon's bass lines groove perfection. This run showed a band that could do anything, master any style, and never sacrifice quality. 6 albums, 6 different approaches, 6 masterpieces. Queen's ambition knew no limits, and this run proved they could achieve whatever they attempted. Hunky Dory, Ziggy Stardust, Aladdin Sane, Diamond Dogs, Young Americans, Low, Heroes. 7 albums in 7 years, and David Bowie reinvented himself with each one. Hunky Dory was the songwriter emerging, sophisticated, and accessible. Ziggy Stardust created glam rock and a character that consumed Bowie's identity. Aladdin Sane pushed further into alien territory. Diamond Dogs showed dystopian visions and theatrical ambition. Young Americans was his blue-eyed soul transformation, proving he could master any genre. Then came the Berlin Trilogy's first 2 entries. Low and Heroes, created with Brian Eno, pushing into ambient and electronic territories that influenced decades of music to come. No artist has ever been this restless, this successful at constant reinvention. Each album was critically acclaimed, commercially successful, and artistically fearless. Bowie didn't just release albums, he created movements. This 7-year run is unmatched in its ambition, quality, and influence. 7 albums, 7 different artists, all named David Bowie. We don't need no Metal, The Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, Animals, The Wall, 9 years, 5 albums, and Pink Floyd became the most ambitious band in rock. Metal showed their experimental side, with Echoes occupying an entire album side. Dark Side of the Moon became one of the best-selling albums ever, a concept album about life, death, time, and madness that resonated universally. Wish You Were Here was their tribute to lost bandmate Syd Barrett, exploring absence and the music industry's emptiness. Animals channeled George Orwell, a bitter commentary on society and power. The Wall was Roger Waters' magnum opus, a rock opera about isolation so powerful it became a film and touring spectacle. Every album was a concept. Every concept fully realized. The production was groundbreaking, the musicianship impeccable, and the artistic vision uncompromising. This wasn't just music, it was architecture and sound. 5 albums that demanded attention, rewarded repeat listening, and changed what rock could achieve. Beggar's Banquet, Let It Bleed, Sticky Fingers, Exile on Main Street, 4 albums in 5 years, and the Rolling Stones became the greatest rock and roll band in the world. Beggar's Banquet stripped away the psychedelia, returning to blues and country roots with songs like Sympathy for the Devil. Let It Bleed captured the darkness of the 60s end. Gimme Shelter, its apocalyptic masterpiece. Sticky Fingers introduced Mick Taylor's guitar work alongside Keith Richards' riffs, creating Brown Sugar and Wild Horses. Then Exile on Main Street, their sprawling double album recorded in a French villa while avoiding taxes. A messy, brilliant document of a band at their absolute peak. Every album is essential. Every song feels lived in and dangerous. The Stones weren't trying to change the world. They were documenting its chaos and celebrating its pleasures. This run captured rock and roll at its purest, raw, sexual, rebellious, and undeniable. 4 albums that defined what it means to be a rock band. Led Zeppelin I, Led Zeppelin II, Led Zeppelin III, Led Zeppelin IV, Houses of the Holy, Physical Graffiti. 6 albums in 7 years, and Led Zeppelin became gods. The first album announced their arrival. Blues rock played with unprecedented power and creativity. The second went heavier, Whole Lotta Love becoming their signature. The third showed acoustic mastery alongside electric fury. The fourth, untitled but often called Led Zeppelin IV, gave us Stairway to Heaven, the most played rock song ever, alongside 3 other classics on side 1 alone. Houses of the Holy experimented with funk, reggae, and everything between. Physical Graffiti was their double album masterpiece, showcasing everything they could do. Jimmy Page's guitar work redefined the instrument. Robert Plant's vocals became the template for rock singing. John Paul Jones provided musical sophistication. John Bonham's drums were thunder-made audible. This wasn't just a great run of albums, it was the definition of what rock could be. 6 perfect albums that influenced every hard rock and heavy metal band that followed.
I need somebody help, not just anybody.
Help, Rubber Soul, Revolver, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, The White Album, Abbey Road. 5 years, 6 albums, and the Beatles changed music forever. Help showed them growing beyond teen idols. Rubber Soul introduced folk and introspective songwriting. Revolver pushed into psychedelia and studio experimentation. Sgt. Pepper's created the concept album, proving rock could be art. The White Album sprawled across 2 records, showing 4 distinct songwriters at their peaks. Abbey Road was their final statement, a goodbye that included some of their best work. Each album was a quantum leap forward. Each one influenced countless artists. Each one is still studied and celebrated. The Beatles weren't just making hits, they were inventing new ways to make music. Studio techniques, songwriting approaches, genre blending, all pioneered in these 5 years. No band before or since has been this innovative while remaining this popular. This run didn't just define an era, it created the template for what rock albums could be. The greatest album run in rock history, and it's not particularly close. These 10 runs represent something we'll never see again. The music industry has changed. Streaming rewards singles over albums, and the patience to develop artistry across multiple releases has largely disappeared. These bands had time to grow, labels that believed in albums as art, and audiences willing to invest in complete works. They created music that demanded attention, rewarded deep listening, and stood the test of time. Which run means the most to you? Which albums from these streaks changed your life? Share your stories in the comments and tag someone who understands that some things can never be replicated. These weren't just album runs, they were cultural moments frozen in vinyl. This was Rock Memories, where the past still plays loud.